The big news, obviously, I think is the Micah Parsons news, but you have some other smaller stories, smaller quote unquote. Terry McLaurin is holding out. You have Matt
Holding
Stafford
in
holding in, rather. Yes, thank you.
because they receive what 50K fines if they aren't present in training camp.
Yeah.
And now with the new, I guess, CBA, or now teams aren't allowed to forgive those fines anymore, which in the past, you could incur these fines, and then once the contract got signed, then the team could just be like, yeah, whatever. Now they have, like, the players have to, and 50K, that adds up quick. So yeah, now we're seeing, Terry McLaurin, Micah Parsons, Trey Hendrickson
Yeah.
in Cincinnati. Um,
Still waiting for his
Jawan
contract.
Jennings, I think, may be doing the same
Oh,
thing. I
he
know
is.
he's,
I forgot
well,
about that.
I think he has an injury, but he could have an injury. So, yeah, we're seeing a lot of players showing up to training camp but not practicing and saying they have, whatever injury they might or might not have.
Yeah, which is their prerogative. If you don't want
Yeah.
to go out there and risk injury, I get it. It's a violent sport, and you're already seeing. We're always surprised at the injuries, but we've already had some people broken foots. We've had some people whose season's already over.
Yeah.
It's not common, but you never know. You never know. You go up and you look at Trayvon Diggs even a couple years ago during just a random practice. He went up on a deep pass or something, defending it, and ACL snapped, out for season. So you just never know. So, but yeah, is there any player in particular you wanted to talk about as far as the news?
I think the biggest news, I think, is the Micah Parsons news.
It
We
is.
can talk
I would
about
agree.
that. Has requested a trade. Um, from what we've seen when the story came out, what was it, like Thursday or something? Diana Rossini uh, posted a bunch of tweets about it, and Micah Parsons, made a tweet. But I think the gist of it is, contract dispute. Mike is holding in. I think last year tried to get a contract going in talks, and the Cowboys said no. Micah said okay, put his head down, played the season. Well, got injured, but played the season, played all the games, and now we have once again come around with the Dallas uh, with another contract dispute. I'll give you my quick thoughts, Jake, and I'll
Sure.
let you go. And this is your team. This is what Jerry wants. I think. Like, I'm not saying this is all like what Mike is doing with requesting a trade. I think if it gets pushed to that, I think Michael would hey, like, he's top player at his position. So yeah, I think this is just ridiculous. Utter ridiculous. I don't know what Dallas's apprehension to not signing Micah. We've went through this last year with Dak. You're like, oh, are we gonna? The question was, were they going to go into the season without giving Dak a contract? And lo and behold, hours before the first game, Dak is now the highest paid quarterback in the league.
Gave him everything he wanted, $60 million a year and all.
So this is just kind of a show, but I feel where Micah is coming from. If you haven't learned in these past few years, like the Cowboys, this is what they do. They ended up playing DeMarcus Lawrence. They paid Zeke. They paid Dak twice now. They paid CD last year. Like, they're gonna pay Micah. It's just when and what the numbers are. Now, I think Diana Rossini said something about, they talked. I don't know when the timeline was, because TJ Watt was also holding out for the Steelers, but he just got paid. So I don't. And apparently they had Jerry and Micah had a conversation, and Micah. I don't know if numbers were discussed. I don't know. We weren't there at that conversation, but maybe they had. It sounds like Micah, like, it sounds like Jerry was like, "Oh, we got a price, we got a numbers and all that," and Micah was like, "No, talk to my agent." Apparently, they have been talking to his agent, so this is all just crazy thing. I will say one last bit. I will say this is gonna happen. Mike is not getting traded. I think Jerry said yesterday he's not. They're
Don't
not
lose sleep
interested.
over this. He's like, Cowboys
Like,
fans, don't lose sleep over this.
he's gonna get signed. He'll probably make above TJ Watt or just at. I think it's more of the guarantee money. I think that's what it always is. So, but I wouldn't be surprised. I think the latest, I don't think this was going into the season, but I think the latest this will get done is the same thing as last year with Dak, where it's like hours before the game, and they're already gonna get talked about because they're opening up with the Eagles in their ring ceremony in the first game of the season. So maybe that'll get them an extra talking point on the uh on all the sports industry shows and all that. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if this might last a little bit. But I mean, Micah did kind of put some pressure on the Cowboys, but don't you worry, Jake and Cowboys fans. He's getting signed, and he will be a Dallas Cowboy for probably the rest of his career. But we'll see. But he's getting paid for sure. I think it's more or so about the guarantees.
Yeah, I think he will get signed. I am a little nervous. I mean, this feels like this is, I mean, we saw this happen with Zeke. We saw this happen with CD. We've seen this happen with Dak twice, as you said. It just, this is what the Cowboys do. I'm not super stressed about it yet, but having somebody like Micah Parsons say, I want to be traded is not a great sign. I mean, that does tell me like there really is some bad blood brewing. Part of me could see it being kind of a negotiation ploy. I mean, you had CeeDee Lamb come out right after and basically tweet something like, I don't understand why we're not paying him. So I think reporting to training camp, as you've talked about with the fines and kind of you can't have those fines forgiven. Once you report to training camp, you're there. I mean, there's all sorts of rules that you can't leave unless you want to incur fines, and then they can put you basically on ice and freeze a year of your eligibility, so you don't even have a year count towards that contract. So, like, the Cowboys have all of the leverage here. So, I think this is Micah using what he can to put some pressure publicly on the Cowboys. And, again, that's really all he can do. But, I mean, I also kind of agree with it, and I kind of feel where he's coming from. I mean, Micah has been a good soldier. He should have been paid last year. There's players from the 2022 draft class that are already getting extensions.
From his draft class, most of the guys, like he was top 12? Everybody, if you go look at that draft class, has been paid.
Everybody
we can argue,
yeah,
and like Pastor Tan's been paid. Trevor Lawrence has been paid. Now, does he deserve that contract? Jamar Chase has been paid. Like,
yeah, I mean, there's a lot. It's a large number, and I would understand if Micah was a middling player. Like, well, we don't know if we want to give you an extension, but like Micah has been lights out amazing. He missed a month of football last year, and that's really all you're getting from him as far as missed time. It's crazy to me that the Cowboys are kind of jerking him around publicly, and that's really where I kind of sympathize with Micah, where Micah's like, I should have been paid last year. I let this offseason go by, and I didn't stress about it. I am reporting to training camp. I'm not saying anything in the media, and y'all are out here. Well, the CD chants were louder than the Micah chants, and I don't really know if I want to pay Micah. What if something happens? We got to be careful with these numbers and all this stuff. Like just little negs here and there where you're kind of just criticizing him and shitting on him in the media a little bit. It's gross. And I feel where Micah's coming from, where Micah's like, you want to sit here and talk about how you had me in a room once and we talked a number in an uninformal way, and then you want to hold me to that, when, by the way, since that conversation has happened, we have had multiple edge rushers paid. So I feel where he's coming from, but I also know that trade requests happen a lot. I mean, Myles Garrett requested a trade earlier this season, and everybody, I mean, there was no conversation about that being anything other than, well, where's Myles Garrett going to go now? And then he ends up with a $40 million a year contract. TJ Watt
always love playing in Cleveland.
got paid too. But, I mean, we saw this last year with Brandon Ayuk. Terry McLaurin just did this. It's very rare the player actually ends up leaving. This is always more of just kind of a step in the process towards getting paid.
All the players, I do think Terry McLaurin could be the one that's traded. But I mean, we'll see when
I
that
would be
happens.
shocked if they like if they. I think it's not to change the subject, but that's a really weird one because I do think on one hand you could say it's probably smart to not pay Terry McLaurin $30 million a year.
Yeah,
But on the other hand, it's like if y'all are serious about making this run and you
Terry
feel like
McLaurin is one of
you
their
cannot
better.
go into the season with Debo Samuel as your number one guy. Like that is you're not doing anything. I mean, your defense already isn't very good. So, I mean, I think the Commanders are in a tough spot with Terry McLaurin, which is why you see, I mean, you even see it with Jawan Jennings. Like, these players understand we have an opportunity here to maybe do something, and you're going to need me to do that thing. So this is when I want to come in and use the maximum leverage I have and try to get more money. I mean, Zeke did the same thing after 2018. The Cowboys we had Amari Cooper as our number one. We'd won a playoff game. It was the first playoff game we'd won with that core. And then Zeke's like, you know what? I would like to be paid early. I've earned it. Which Zeke, the contract obviously didn't age well, but at that point, Zeke had definitely earned getting paid and getting paid early. So, yeah, I'm nervous about it just because anytime you have somebody the caliber of Micah complaining and wanting to be traded, it makes me nervous. But I also don't think the Cowboys will. The Cowboys can't afford to throw away this season, and Micah is pivotal to this season. You have the Bill Barnwell stat that I was sharing with all of y'all. Over the last 4 years, the Cowboys are the league's best defense with Micah Parsons on the field by EPA. It's a famous analytical stat. Across a 1,039 play sample, they are the league's second worst defense over that same stretch by EPA per play when Parsons is not on the field. So, and I've talked about this on the podcast a lot. I mean, when Micah's on the field, the Cowboys are a top 10 unit. When he is off the field, they cannot stop anybody. So, I think it'll get done. I think people are being really silly when they say, "Well, why not just trade him for a haul?" Is Micah even that good? It's like you're trying to be big brained and you're being stupid. Like, I don't know what else to tell you. You do not draft a player of Micah Parsons' caliber. When you draft a player in the first round, every team, no matter who they're drafting, they hope, hey, I hope in 3 to 4 years, I'm going to be able to give this guy a bag of money because he's one of the best in the league at what he does. That is what Micah Parsons is and has become. The idea that I'm sitting here drafting, even if you get 2 firsts for him, you going to draft somebody better than Micah Parsons? No, you're not. So, yeah, I think he needs to be paid. I think this is a no-brainer. I don't know why the Cowboys do this all the time. They're going to give him everything he's asking for. I mean, he's probably going to get a $45 million a year contract or something, and we're going to be like, why did you do all that? You do this every time. So, I don't know. I digress. But anyway, we'll see where it goes.
Yeah.